Instructor Ma. Welcome to the World Hapkido News Show, your complete resource for Hapkido news, events, and entertainment. Before we get started, remember to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notifications when we post new videos like this one. Now on with the show.
Today's topic is military style versus principles-based teaching. Today I want to talk about two different teaching styles. The first is the military style of martial arts teaching, and the second one is the principles-based style of martial arts teaching, sometimes called academic progression. People who learned from the military while in the military have a different training format than those who learned outside of the military. You see, when you're in the military and you're going to train, it's part of your job and you are paid to be there. So they don't tolerate you being late because it's your job to be there on time. So often the person leading the training would punish someone for being late. That carried over into them teaching in civilian schools in later years. Now, outside of the military, when teaching civilians, they are paying the instructor for them to take the class. They are making time in their schedule to come and try to be there during the class time that you have set in your schedule. So if they're coming from another location to class and they're late because of transportation issues or had to wait for a parent to get off work, then bring them to class, whatever the case might be, there is no reason to punish someone for being late to class. I can remember Grandmaster Chun thanking people for coming and telling them, "I'm glad you could make it," when they arrived late, even if they were out of uniform. There were times that high school kids would show up still wearing their public school uniform to training because had they stopped to change clothes, they would have missed even more of the class. In the military, they make a big deal out of the uniform because that's just part of their discipline training. They expect you as a soldier to wear the appropriate uniform because it is your job. While in a civilian setting, oftentimes, not only did we not wear the traditional uniform, but sometimes in the summer, especially when the weather was hot, we would wear sleeveless t-shirts and shorts to do our martial arts training in. In the military style of teaching, they would have people do push-ups or squats for being late or as some form of punishment. In academic progression training, this is very confusing because when you start the warm-ups and you're having to do push-ups as conditioning, now they're wondering, why am I being punished when I didn't do anything wrong? Because you as a teacher are now using a conditioning exercise that they have also been given as a form of punishment. It breaks motivation and is bad for the learning environment. I can remember my Mudokwan teacher, Grandmaster Kim. Instead of calling them push-ups or press-ups, he would get in the position and say, "Let's strengthen our blocks," or "let's develop powerful punches and strikes," and then we would do the push-ups together with him. This is lead by example teaching, and it is the most powerful and effective form of teaching and provides a great amount of inspiration and motivation in the learning environment. In the military, they use negative reinforcement. This means if you made a mistake, they would punish you for having made the mistake. The same way that circus animals are conditioned and trained to perform certain tasks. But when using principles-based teaching model or academic progression, if a student makes a mistake, the instructor will demonstrate it again, often from two different angles, to help the student see and observe the technique done correctly so that they can repeat that when they perform the technique themselves. This is the proper teaching method, because they are not paying you to treat them like a circus animal. In the military style of teaching, they were very rude and abrupt between the instructor and the students. In academic progressive training, the the instructors use better communication skills to get their point across. And those instructors understand that mistakes are part of the learning process. If we could turn every technique, but only by watching it once and then repeating it, you could get a black belt in a month. So as instructors, it is our job to try to be better communicators, to be better at inspiring and motivating students by leading by example. Now, another important topic that I want to cover today is that there are two major divisions of Hapkido. The first division comes from the founder of Hapkido, Che-Young-sul, and his Hapkido is self-defense based because it comes from a military art. It employs all 36 of the principles of Hapkido. This system, as taught by the USA Hapkido Union, applies the 36 principles in situation-based training to be the most effective method for teaching techniques and physical skills. Instead of practicing endless boring drills in the air, we apply situation-based scenarios such as defending against strikes or grabs. This is sometimes called police academy style training. The second primary division of Hapkido was made very popular was the version of Hapkido spread by one of Che-Young-sul's students named Jihan Jae. And it included a lot of flashy jumping, double kicks, and spinning kicks that are pretty worthless in any actual fight. The reason his brand of Hapkido included all of those things was because he was surrounded by other young men who were aspiring to become movie stars. Jihan Jae himself had minor roles in a few Hong Kong kung fu movies and even had a role where his character was killed by Bruce Lee in the movie. He and his friends had aspirations of becoming movie stars themselves, so they practiced the kinds of things that they thought would look good in movies and look good on film. In the United States, we commonly called that Hollywood foo, because what looks good in a movie fight is never very practical in a real fight, and what works in real fights is not very entertaining to watch. Therefore, the USA Hapkido Union curriculum is based on the military art form of Hapkido, because most of our instructors have a military or police background. So they cannot afford to waste any of their training time doing low spin kicks that will probably get themselves injured in a fight. They must use things that work. In the USA Hapkido Union curriculum, we teach all 36 of the principles of Hapkido, while other organizations have limited themselves mostly to the three basic principles of water or flow principle, the principle of non-resistance, and the circular force principle. If you're interested in teaching or learning street effective self-defense Hapkido, then we welcome you to join our organization.
I'm Instructor Ma, and along with your show hosts and sponsors, we thank you for watching today's show. Be sure to share this with your friends, subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss a single exciting episode. You can visit our sponsors by the following links in the video descriptions.